If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome into the program. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy program lined up today. A lot on the Major League Baseball card for tonight. The NBA and the NHL playoffs, of course. Great guests on the program, updated series prices, and we can spend a minute or two here, Pauly, recapping what we watched last night, because I do have a couple of questions for you on this Timberwolves and Warriors series. After what we watched last night, how does the series change with no Steph Curry? Like, does it play out similarly to what we saw last night where Minnesota is in control? It's going to be a tough time for the Warriors to score in this series without Steph and their leader on the floor. Mm-hmm. And even if they go back to, the city in San Francisco and Curry's in street clothes, do they get back into the series, or is last night going to be a carbon copy over and over? Are we going to get a carbon copy, I guess?
Well, I think, again, being from that state and seeing the issues they've had in big games and big series, you can ask Cleveland fans, Toronto fans, the list goes on about it. It should be easy, and that's what it should look like. And certainly you had a desperate team against a team that already had the split, no matter what, but they should have won game 1, too. I would just say stop settling for threes, be aggressive, attack the basket, and you're going to be up 3-1 if and when Curry comes back. The other thing, Draymond's begging for a suspension. And he's a child. His antics are ridiculous. I won't get into what he said after the game, but he is, with his history and what he does, throwing elbows, throwing leg kicks, knees, whatever, and with Gobert out there as well in their history, he's only 2 away now with the flagrants and the technicals. And he loves to get technicals as well. So they're just limited offensively in what they could do. They should be easy to guard if I can just contain Butler. And I have so much offensive firepower. McDaniels was good. I thought we had a chance there with the 35-1 most points. Can we get that from Randall, right?
Yeah.
If he was great
sure.
against the Lakers. If I get that from Randall and I get an aggressive Ant, and I still think, like Mike Baum said, Finch is great with his interviews and calling people out as well. Barkley was right. I'm not criticizing you. I'm coaching you. Mm-hmm. Play harder, do better, attack. Let's go.
Yep. Also, I think this is going to be a big series potentially for Naz Reid, who has played well in 2 games off the bench. So I will say this.
It's right there for them. They shouldn't mess around. Don't pull a Houston. You're the better team. They're also with their star player and what he means to that organization. Yep. Going on the road is going to be difficult, but they have no excuses. They got to win these games without Curry.
So I'd be very careful. And, I tweeted this out last night when it was happening as well. Draymond Green props in this series. I'm not going to touch him, because there is a long history here, and the meltdown was on the way last night. He was doing whatever he could to get kicked out of that game. Rudy Gobert, when he put him in that chokehold a couple of years ago and he got suspended for, 5 games, I think, Draymond?
Yeah, then he had the Nurkic thing after, and he had to go to counseling. Yeah.
Gobert called him out and basically said he doesn't want to play when Steph's not on the court.
Yeah.
So Tom Habistro, who used to come on our show quite often, we reached out. He's very busy, can't come on right now. He wrote an unbelievable story, a deep dive on this. He's like, is Gobert onto something here? Let me go back and check. And he wrote a story about Draymond, how he does not like to play when Curry is unavailable and he's in street clothes that night. And he does whatever he can. And the history and the numbers tell you that he has gotten kicked out of games or flagrant fouls, tossed, ejected, whatever. He doesn't want to play in those games when Steph is not there. You saw it last night in the first game without him. And if the Wolves get up early and they're punishing the Warriors again in San Francisco, it's going to get vile. It's going to get nasty. This is why I said this before these 2 teams even met. I'm like, if this is going to be the matchup, watch out, because there's a good chance here that Draymond or somebody's going to get kicked out of a game or maybe suspended for a little while as well, because that's tied into the Timberwolves not giving a rat's ass who you are, and they're not going to back down to anybody.
Yeah, they got some tough dudes.
Yes, they do.
Sure, and DiVincenzo's a pain in the rear too. But I want them to run them out though as well. It eventually happened later on, but for that to be close in the third quarter, that shouldn't happen either after they had the big lead.
So here a couple
don't screw around.
No,
don't
you
pull
can't.
up Boston Celtics stuff.
You have to go to San Francisco now over the weekend, and you need to control that game, and you need to walk out of there with a win. You have to do it. You cannot because again, there is a break in the series between games 5 and 6 of 4 days, because that's when the WNBA team now in San Francisco, they're going to debut. So if you are suddenly in a tight series with Golden State and Curry can now come back because of the 4-day layoff, well, that's no good. Mm-hmm. So Wolves minus 1.5 games for the series is now minus 110. Do you think they sweep Golden State? Wolves minus 2.5 games plus 205 at DraftKings.
No.
Okay.
I would think a Buddy Hield game, a Butler game, Minnesota stinks from the outside. No.
I think a Butler game for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Will be on the way, but I don't know how much other. Kuminga going to score 18 again?
Yeah, true. And he actually got some run too. Kerr put him out there, but it's wild what's happened in the second round here. That just OKC was supposed to take care of Denver, no problem. Right. They're up 14. They're up 9 with 2:30. They blow it. We'll get to the Celtics stuff, which is well documented. What the Cavs did. I mean, you're up 20. You can't relax. And these teams relax, and next thing you know, you lose, and now your season's on the line.
Are we getting carried away with the Cavaliers-Pacers number tonight?
We absolutely are.
I touched 5.5 earlier today.
Yeah, it's the same thing in the NHL, too. You are paying our season on the line tax. What's more surprising, what Boston's laying game 3 or the series price? I mean, they're $1.20 favorite. They're down 0-2, and they're going to the Garden. It's the most expensive ticket in Garden history for a Knicks game. The get-in price is $700. Bobby's got the champagne ready. I mean, it's crazy.
Is he going back there? Is he going to go to a game?
He sell the tickets. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sell the tickets. But it's just lunacy what you're seeing with the tax on this. And, yeah, you're going to have the guys back. It figures to be back, and that's what it's priced at. But who's to say Indiana's not right there with them? And you can't be catching 5 when you're at home. The big thing, the shocking thing has been what's happened in the fourth quarter, what's happened, points in the paint, and what they've done on the boards. Or in this case, what Cleveland's failed to do on the boards. So, Ty Jerome stink bomb in game 2.
Oh, brutal.
Who do you trust other than Mitchell? Strus was great, but with Mobley and who knows what Garland's situation is, missing all that time, I think that's outrageous. And the more I listen to the interviews, the Boston series price and the Boston game 3 line is outrageous because they don't think they did anything wrong. Missoula walked it all back. I only had a problem with 1 or 2 possessions. Okay. Yeah. That's it. So they think they know what they're doing, and they think this is good basketball. It's horrible basketball. It's low IQ basketball, and you don't jack threes early in the shot clock when you're up 20 in the third quarter.
I have a lot to say about Jason Tatum. I don't even know how much of this I can actually say on the air, but I think we've seen this now pan out over the course of his career. The guy is obviously Captain Obvious here, ultra talented player. He's one of the best players in the NBA on the court. I also think he's one of the mentally weakest players we've seen in a long time. His idol was Kobe. He wants to be Kobe. He wants you to think that he's Kobe Bryant. Dude, you're not on the same stratosphere as Kobe Bryant was as a basketball player in the NBA. You're not close.
He was also a killer, too. I mean, Kobe was.
Oh, Kobe was all-time killer.
Oh, yeah.
This guy, I think there's a chance here where he is like Kevin Durant light. I don't know about the burners on the accounts and, going after people who make fun of him, but I think that Tatum probably listens to a lot of what media says about him. I think he might pay attention to what people are saying on social media to him. And I think it really, really bothers him because he wants to be all-time good and he wants to be like an MVP in the league. I put this out last year in the playoffs. He was playing such stupid basketball in the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. He specifically was trying to steal the MVP awards. That's how he was playing for an entire series, but back-to-back. I'm like, what, dude, you have to cut this out. And I don't know at this time of year if he has it in him or not. Because what else do you, and by the way, OG might be in his head right now. So are we starting to see, by the way, going back to the Olympics, and I kind of bought into this as the revenge tour for Tatum to begin the year.
Yeah.
And while it worked back in October, it's not working now. What did Kerr know over in Paris? Didn't play the guy.
Yep.
Couldn't play him. Didn't want to go to him. Didn't rely on him. And he sat there on the bench as one of the, best 5 players in the entire league.
That's the one positive out of this. People can stop with this. Oh, Tatum is so good. Oh, Jason Tatum. We can put that to bed now. 23 points last 7 quarters. Tatum and Brown, 2 of 19 in the fourth quarter. 5 of 20 from 3. He's 12 of 42 for and only 9 free throw attempts. What are you doing?
Again, he went to the free throw line the last 3 games against Orlando almost 40 times.
Yep.
That's the guy I thought we were going to get here against the Knicks. Now, I will say this, and we've talked about this throughout the year. This is kind of when you want Boston, though, is going to be on the road. They play much better on the road.
That is true.
Right?
Yep.
Than they do at home.
Yeah, but even if they get the split, then you got to win 3 in a row. So, and it feels like the Miami series in the conference finals when they were huge favorites and they lost the first 3. But to be up 20 back-to-back games and blow it, and certainly if it's going to be close, you'd have to give the Knicks edge as well, which is how good Brunson is. And Holiday had the silly foul as well. And then can Joey draw something up? That's the other thing.
Are we sure he's a good coach?
No, we're not. And I would fire the guy if they lose in 5. I don't care what happened last year. You just saw what Denver did.
No, last year means nothing.
Absolutely. You just saw what Denver did. And there's more to that coming up, too, which we'll get to. Because I saw Zach Lowe made a great point. That is so important with coaching about being reckless, use the clock to your advantage, and time and score. Which it's time. You don't take, I missed a 3. We got the rebound. I'll shoot another 3. You're up 20. Get to the line, attack the basket, and run some clock here. Don't just shoot 5 seconds into the shot clock in what you're doing. And also, they want to talk about what we're playing the math game. That's a larger sample size. This is a small sample size. So you're going to say, well, if we shoot 53s a game, it's going to work out. We're going to be. You could stink it up for 4 games and go home. And that's what happens in the first 2.
But also, I'm okay with open 3-pointers by any team pretty much. The contested 3s are what kill me. They think that's a good shot.
That's true, right. And that step-back crap.
Yep.
What they did in a tie game late in game 1. For a limited time, slashing the price of our annual subscription, normally $240, now just $199. Sign up today. You get 2 extra months for free, 14 months, less than 50 cents a day. Promo code PRO. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, the trends from Mackinnon, the dog videos, vsin.com/subscribe, code PRO. 14 months, less than 50 cents, vsin.com.
All right, you brought this up. We'll expand on it coming up. Tonight's schedule, including first quarter, first half, and first period numbers, the perfect example of baking desperation into a number is next.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So some numbers now to look at early on in these games, like first quarter, first half. Again, the Cavs are up to a 5-point favorite against the Pacers. First half, they're either 2.5 or 3. That's, splitting it right down the middle. First quarter, they're minus 1.5. Similar story there with the Thunder at the Knicks, although you can find the Thunder laying 2.5 or 3.5 in the first half if you shop around. But this is more specifically what I'm talking about when I said before the break that you're baking desperation into a number. So at Caesars right now, Florida is up to 260 for the game tonight against Toronto. 260.
Yeah.
But the first period market with the Panthers now continues to move up. At DraftKings, Pauly, in the first period, just to win it on the money line, Florida is minus 240 to win the first period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they might win it 4-0. Who knows? And coast to a victory tonight. But to me, minus 240, and what I'd like to do is come back and take half a goal in the first period, but you got to pay, the splits, just the straddle stinks. Because if I want to do that, you're still paying like minus 145, minus 150 on half a goal with the Maple Leafs in the first period.
Where you at with Wall? What do you think?
Well, I mean,
this could be a high-scoring series. The
I
opposite
agree.
of Carolina.
He impressed me when he out there in Game 2.
Yeah.
He did.
It's been bad Bob, though, as well. So I know Jonathan Davis likes the Toronto team total over 2.5, which has gone over every playoff game but one. A lot of firepower here. Baby power with Marner. Got it done in the last game. Lou Finnecarles thinking that they're cooked. Maybe they're running out of gas, which could be with all the playoff games and the back-to-back trips to the Stanley Cup final. And maybe it's Toronto's year. Maybe they're able to exercise the demons and get to the conference finals for the first time since 2002. But I bet them in regulation. I think they get it done. It was a great job by Toronto to hold serve, but I just think Bob has a pretty good game tonight, and it's something like 4-2, something like that, that Florida gets the win. But you might be right, and Lou might be right. And maybe there's no need to panic as well. But this could be a great series, and then the series price isn't that crazy either. That Toronto's only $2, $2.15, I think, behind us here at Circa. So maybe it goes 7 and the home team wins the first 6, much like Winnipeg, St. Louis. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like tonight, though. But the first 2 games were spectacular, and I think it could be a high-scoring game and series.
All right, some trends here from our buddy Jonathan Davis in the NHL. So the teams
2-0 yesterday with these 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The teams who lost the previous game have scored the first period goal in the next game. 29-13 overall.
Yep.
Teams who lost the previous game have scored the first goal of the next game, 28-14 overall. Teams who lost the previous game scored the first goal of the first period in the next game. That's 23-19. That pays a nice plus price. And home teams are 35-19 overall, but only 3-4 in round 2 so far. And we saw that with the late game last night going to overtime at VGK. You know, that was a big game for them, obviously. And they could not get the job done, and I thought that was kind of a brutal beat. Well, I don't think they deserved to win the game. Let me preface it by that. I thought Edmonton was better for the first, in regulation. Mm-hmm. However, the way that overtime started, I thought they dominated Edmonton and had several chances, and then just what do you do when there's a breakaway like that? And PK Subban said after the game on ESPN with SVP that he doesn't blame Jack Eichel. He's not the fault there because McDavid blew right by him. PK Subban said last night there isn't a defenseman in the league who could have slowed him down.
Yeah. Yep. Edmonton blows the 2-goal lead.
Yep.
Great resilience by VGK to come back. Edmonton gets the 5-minute power play. They couldn't cash in, was shocked. And then Cassidy's ticked off about the non-call in overtime as well, and we'll talk about that with Stormy. But
I think he has every right to be pissed off
he's
about
livid.
that.
Oh, he was livid. Total number of players with goals. Edmonton, 15. Points, 18. How about the balance here?
Yeah,
how about their outscoring teams 5-on-5 without McDavid and Draisaitl?
That's unbelievable.
I can't believe it.
Huh?
And then every win's been come from behind as well. So you play LA, right? You're down 3-0, 4-0, 3-0, and then here you were down 2-0 in game 1. No problem. We're 2 games away from going back to the conference finals. Now the bigger question might be, can you win with this type of defense and goaltending? I mean, can you outscore as good as they look game 1? Can you win? And finally, Minnesota lost the game. It was the second longest in history, 42 straight wins in the playoffs when they scored 3+. That goes up in flames. But can you win games consistently 5-4 when we get deeper in these rounds, and if you might face a Carolina in the Stanley Cup final or someone like that?
Well, they definitely want to take on Winnipeg, right?
Oh, God, I'd love to see that.
They would be begging to play. They don't want to see Dallas. I mean, between these 2 teams playing in the other series, they absolutely prefer the Jets.
Oh, what they do to Hellebuck, come on. I mean, it's just they probably chase him. I'd love to see how many, but the prop is how many games they chase him. But it's just, it's incredible what they're doing here that they were dead and buried down 0-2. And as far as the other game tonight, I think it's appropriately priced because Winnipeg season's on the line, $1.35. So right back with Dallas over team total, 2.5. And then
what's the juice on that?
I think it's $1.50. Luke, I'll look in a second. But everyone's going to be talking on the Rantanen props. And how can you not be?
Well, yeah.
He is $2 to have a point. He is plus 165 to have a goal. He's plus 110 to have an assist. Back-to-back hack tricks, and we're talking about, 4 points, and 3 points going back in the last couple games. $1.50 team total, right? So
he did both. By the way, both hat tricks were pulled off in the same period.
Yeah, natural hat tricks, too. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Never happened.
No, ever in history of the sport.
Yeah, right. So he's not going to put one past Hellebuck? He's not going to be involved and he's been involved in all their goals. That's the other thing.
Right.
This is Lemieux territory, what he's doing. So I would think Winnipeg comes out with the big jump after it was a tough turnaround after the miracle win, Game 7, but their season on the line as well. But again, right back to Dallas team total over 2.5. See if Winnipeg can make this a series. You're right. It'd be okay, but I don't want to see Dallas Edmonton again for the second straight year to go to the Cup.
Yeah, I think Cavs a little bit too much right now, but I want to see if it goes back up to 5.5 before I bet the Pacers. And the other game, Thunder and Denver.
Yeah.
What do we get out of the Nuggets in this game tonight?
Too high. I took 6. Too much.
Okay.
Too much. The bounce back here, humiliated in Game 2, and now you got Gordon and the Nuggets complaining about the officiating, which if you piss and moan, it usually goes your way. Mm-hmm. And you say, hey, Joker fouled out. I mean, they're hacking him. You're missing the calls. They got humiliated in game 2. And I also love Westbrook props. You can ladder his points. Look at his numbers. Guy had 18 in the last game. Plus, if it's a blowout, he's going to stay in there.
Sure.
So I don't mind Westbrook props either.
Let's not forget what happened to OKC game 3 when they went to Memphis.
Good point.
Won the game. They were also down by 30.
Yep.
So there's an angle there where maybe a team like Denver playing at home, Jokic plays out of his mind. This could be a big Jamal Murray game too. At home.
Could be. In
front of that crowd, goes nuts. We will get into the Major League Baseball card today as well several times. I have a couple of bets here. Did you get involved with the Giants at all? Now, they have an elite record against right-handed pitching. I looked at their numbers overall. It's not like they have unbelievable numbers against righties. They just happen to be winning all these games. I did bet San Francisco today, but it's more of a bet against Chris Paddock going from Minnesota. And the Twins are actually playing some decent ball right now. But I laid minus 105 on the Giants earlier.
They won 10 of 11 at home. Yeah, I don't hate that as well. And I don't hate fading him. I like the over in that game. I think there'll be runs scored, and Buxton's been hot too.
Yeah.
But more sides coming up. But we got an 11 in Sacramento. Judge goes home.
Oh.
I mean, I think Judge is going to rake today, and that could go over first 5 in that game. And
that first 5 is 6 runs now at a lot of books.
Yeah, right. And even though it lost, I mean, we got the base hit early, and then they shut him down. But Freeman's got some incredible numbers. What he's done going against this guy that Arizona's throwing too. So there's a lot of more better props and stuff to look at. And the question is, to start the day, do you want to fire with Detroit here with what Skubal's done? 3-0, ERA under 1 the last 3 starts, number 2 in runs scored, 3rd in ERA. Texas has lost 6 series in a row, 3rd fewest runs. Number 1, how did they get anything off this guy? You're firing a hitting coach, and although it worked for one game with Boone, that was it against Boston, and now you're throwing Corbin. At least he's been a different guy for the spider bite, but still, come on, with the way Detroit's raking.
Well, let me go the opposite side here for a second.
The doubleheader getting in late? You going there?
There's a bunch to it, right? First of all, you had that doubleheader yesterday at Coors Field in Denver, so now they got to go all the way back to Detroit to play this game tonight. The Tigers have been on the road since April 28th. It is the definition of a huge Malinsky special tonight. First game back after a long road trip. Rangers played a day game in Boston, short flight over, and to Detroit. Plus, in his career anyway, if anybody's ever going to get to Skubal, I know only a handful of guys have. Corey Seager, very small sample size, pretty good numbers against him, and I believe Garcia is the other guy too for the Rangers. But I am concerned about that offense, man. The Rangers offense, you have to be at this point.
Yep.
Maybe the Boone thing eventually will pan out and have like a major impact over the the course of this entire regular season, but here's the deal, right? You're going to get a nice number because it is Skubal going in the game if you want to fade that team.
Mm-hmm. It's a big return, but then you're putting your life in the hands of Corbin.
I know.
Which and Baez is hot, Torkelson's hot.
It's a dill of a pickle tonight.
They got some great numbers what they're doing offensively. Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. Get paid for what you love doing, which is betting. Card never declined. Don't wait on that wire. Earn cashback rewards. 100% approved for all betting deposits. EdgeBoost.bet, code FTM. Deposit 25. Edge Boost will match it. EdgeBoost.bet. No usage fees, no minimums, no outrageous fees when you go over your limit. EdgeBoost.bet, code FTM.
Scott Agness joins the program up next. He covers the Pacers and the Fever. Indiana took both games on the road in Cleveland. Head back home for Game 3 tonight. And now the point spread has moved more than 2 full points. We'll get his thoughts on that next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Very critical Game 3 tonight. NBA playoffs, well, aren't they all? As the Pacers are hosting the Cavaliers. Took the first 2 on the road. Now they come back home and they're a 5-point dog. And, I'm seeing an update right now from a couple hours ago on these players, Pauly. And Garland is expected to play tonight. Mobley, this is per Shams. Mobley and Hunter are aiming to play on Friday. And to help us dive into this game tonight, Scott Agness joins the program now, covers the Pacers and the Fever for Fieldhouse Files. Scott, thanks for the time today. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon. All a buzz here in Indianapolis, from the Fever wrapping up preseason to the Pacers and trying to grade a stranglehold on the series tonight in Game 3.
Yeah. Now, I know that the NBA, they update their official injury report at the bottom of the hour of every single hour, and all 3 of those players that I mentioned for the Cavaliers are still questionable. But if you had to bet on it right now, like, are you going to say that maybe all three play, a combination of the three will play tonight? Where are you at with those players for the Cavaliers?
Yeah, so all three were visible at shoot-around, but what was interesting about that was in most injury situations, usually you're not so forward and out front about it. Like normally you're like you take them off the court so no one sees anything, whether they look great or whether they can't even move on the court. But anyways, I would suspect two of the three would give it a go. The one that concerns me most, it would just be the ankle sprain of Evan Mobley. Like that's one against a team like the Pacers who want to run and get you up and down the court. You're playing with an athletic, versatile Miles Turner. The ankle sprain would concern me the most.
I'm with you on that. I know, Pauly, you were about the Garland thing, right? With the toe injury, that can be super dicey and tough to speculate on, too, because it's basketball, and you're running, you're jumping, you're cutting the whole time. So that probably just comes down to an individual's pain threshold, yeah?
Yeah, I would entirely agree with that. And it makes me wonder, though, he's been out a couple of weeks. At first, I almost wondered, was the last series as a precaution to head into this next series, right? Because they were just so dominant against the Miami Heat. But to sit out the first couple games there, it must have really been a painful injury. And I've covered players that have dealt with this before. And honestly, you just need time more than anything. Usually does not require surgery. You just need time off. And so now I think it purely becomes a pain tolerance thing. And I would imagine he'll try to give it a go. But I do wonder, I go back to last series, we saw this with Damian Lillard, very different injury. But Dame hadn't played in more than a month. He was great in the first half, but then the rest of the series really did not contribute much, was out of shape, and really couldn't find his shot. So I'll be curious, even if he does play, at what level will Garland be able to play with this, windshield wiper speed that the Pacers want to set the tone with?
Mm-hmm. All valid points. The other thing, they really struggled defensively in the first couple games at home against Miami, I thought, and especially guarding the three. I'm stunned what happened in the first two games with the Pacers getting to the basket, points in the paint, and what the Pacers did on the boards, especially late in game two. What say you?
Yeah, those are all areas that the Pacers normally struggle with, is paint points that they give up, defending without fouling, all those sort of things. I thought what was interesting is we've heard Coach of the Year Kenny Atkinson criticize officials like 3 times now, and part of it's like gamesmanship, right? Rick Carlisle did this a little bit in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks last year. I covered Frank Vogel against the Miami Heat before that series. He reminded everyone nobody flops more than the Miami Heat, for example. But in this series, there was like 33 combined free throw attempts in game one, and then in game two, the Cavaliers had 35, I think, by themselves. But the most alarming thing to me was how this Cleveland Cavaliers team wore down. They were exhausted and had as many turnovers as field goals in that fourth quarter. They struggled to even get the ball in bounds.
Yeah.
And part of the discussion that I don't think has been brought up enough is they lacked timeouts. They had to burn a couple timeouts just to try to get the ball in that final minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So before this series started and the Cavs won 64 games, at any point during this season did you think I might be covering the NBA Finals?
Not NBA Finals, and I probably wouldn't say I'm there yet either. But I thought this was a Pacer team that absolutely should reach this round, and the next round would be a bonus. That was my expectations coming off last year.
Okay. So you cover the Fever as well. Which team has a better chance of making the finals, the Pacers or the Indiana Fever?
Yeah, that's a fun question, and especially as the W season's just getting started. I would say the Fever. They're already in the championship aspirations and contending conversation. You have one of the best players in the league in Caitlin Clark as well. You have dominant scoring. Their games, the way in which they want to play very much resembles one another, which is interesting in town. But still, despite having 2 wins in the series, you'd still have the conference finals. I would pick the Fever.
All right. I don't disagree. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Scott Agness, who covers the Pacers and the Fever for Fieldhouse Files. Now, I'm a little bit concerned with the Pacers and where they're at maybe entering this game, and I'll explain why. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I go back. I can't get Game 5 out of my head against the Bucks, and I'll give credit to the Bucks. No Damian Lillard. They came out right, but they had a chance to finish off Milwaukee in that game, put them away. They did eventually, but it took a miraculous comeback late. And the Bucks just they completely outplayed them, and I thought the Pacers showed up with like their D game, just like, okay, well, we can beat them with no Lillard, no problem. Are they feeling a little fat and happy that they took the first 2 on the road here? Or are they going to come out and say, you know what, we have a chance to put our foot on their throats tonight, gentlemen. Let's take care of business.
Yeah, I think it's much more the latter, because as much as we can critique Cleveland, I go back to the last game and take a look at a couple of things. First of all, your best player in many accounts, Pascal Siakam, minimal in this series in that game, just 12 points. Tyrese Halliburton, who this team and this offense is designed around and for, just 4 assists. They tried to eliminate Tyrese Halliburton as the primary ball handler. Therefore, Andrew Nembhard put it in his hands a lot more. So I see 12 points for Siakam, just 4 assists for Halliburton. The Pacers trailed by 20 and still won the game. So I don't think they played great by any means. And I think for that reason, and the likelihood of at least a couple of their injured players coming, won't allow for the Pacers to get ahead of themselves. And the other thing in all this is if those players do end up going, I would almost say it's better off for the Pacers, because one of their biggest issues in the last several years is when players are out and the unfamiliarity and falling behind. Where they're best is when playing the best, as they rise to that level. Otherwise, they play down to the competition. So I think they are in good spot. They've been very good on their home floor. They're wearing their special City Edition uniforms that they're 20-4 this season when wearing.
Very nice. What do you make of the point spread, by the way? It was 2.5 earlier in the week. That was when the status was more, I think, unknown about the players for the Cavaliers. And again, but maybe not all 3 guys are going to come back tonight. They're now a 5-point favorite on the road here, Scott.
Yeah, to me, that's a direct reflection of the injury report and those players being seen at shoot-around earlier today at the Fieldhouse. I think that's what it is they're trying to line up even money there. We realize how good the Cavaliers have been all season, and I think it's a benefit of the doubt as well. Like, is this team that was so good really going to fall behind 3-0? So that's how I view that.
Scott, pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for the time. Enjoy the game tonight. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
Thanks.
Follow
Well done.
Scott on X. He is at Scott Agness, Agness is how you spell the last name. And he covers both the Pacers and the Fever for Fieldhouse Files.
Well, everything's flipped here, and it's backwards. I hope we get long series, number one. But I think it's going to be Knicks against the Pacers, and the Pacers are going to the NBA Finals. And it's a tough matchup for Cleveland, even with the guys hurt, and see if they can, first things first, can they avoid the sweep? And while we were talking to Scott for about 30 seconds, the Thunder went to 6.5.
Did they really?
Wow.
They shot up a full point.
Yeah.
They were 5.5 on the screen not that long ago, really. So which others are you going to bank on tonight?
I totally disagree with what the public's doing on Ty Jerome. I wouldn't even play the guy. He was so bad in the last game, and he was shook. He had lost his confidence. That's another guy. I mean, it's just that's been the story of the round 2 with what you see. If it's not your night, pass the ball or go to the basket. Stop 1 of 14. Come on.
So give me an other than that shows up for the Cavaliers on the road. Is it going to be Merrill?
I still know I'm Strus. I was Strus last game. I like Strus's game.
Okay. How about for the
I know
Pacers?
Mitchell's going to be great, but he's right. I don't know what to expect from Garland, and he might run out of gas. Pacers, it's just it's about everyone. They're a balanced attack. They got so many guys that can score, whether it's Mathurin, whether it's Nembhard, what he's doing. The huge Naismith had the huge rebound. I think it was him, or with the putback to cut it to 5. But, we're sitting here and talking. It was also an implosion. Even without 3 of their better players, they're up 20 late in the third quarter, and they're up 7 with 48 seconds. They lose the game. So
yeah, Mathurin's gone over his point prop 2 games so far in the series. Again, I think that's 16-3 over last 19 games.
Yeah.
He had 11 in game 1. He had 19 last time, and here's the key to that: he got to the free throw line off the bench 6 times. He's going to drive like that. He'll hit a 3 or a couple of 3s in the game too. I think you can expect Mathurin to play well at home.
Halliburton on a mission with all this overrated stuff as well. He's 7-1 to have the most points tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So if Mitchell doesn't go off or a blowout, as we've seen plenty of those, and we've seen plenty of big tickets cash.
You going to be okay if the Knicks make the NBA Finals in terms of the overall coverage? I get it. The fans, they're starving.
I'm okay with it.
I'm rooting
yes.
for them.
Yes.
What I'm not going to be okay with is going to be the fanboy media people and their reaction. That's going to be insufferable.
Yeah.
Do your job. I don't want to know how big of a fan you are of the Knicks. Do your job. Up next, win some, lose some. The second longest streak of all time is now dead, and we'll give you some incredible numbers to make note of when this guy is golfing in future PGA Tour events.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Awesome game last night, Washington and Carolina. This could be an epic series. 5.5 again? No way. This whole series should be 2-1. Things will change probably game 3 in Carolina. Can Thompson steal a game or two? Yes. Can Thompson steal a series? Maybe.
Well, could you not make the case that he stole the game last night?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Jeff Davis with a good point, too, here at Circa. Don't bet Washington to win the Cup. Bet Thompson, Conn Smythe. Because he's going to have to stand on his head to do it. And the power play goal, the breakaway, McMichael first goal, 20-1. Carlson plus 750. Wilson with the empty net plus 310.
Like nothing happened in the first period of that game last night.
I think that's what the whole series could look like. Olofsson first goal, 15-1. Edmonton 6 straight comeback wins. It's a record. Most runs, Tigers plus 450. Highest scoring game, Dead Heat, Phillies Rays 9-1. Angels Jays 7-1. Braves 160 up to $2. McDaniel's first basket and first 3 9-1. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram, send them in like Kevin. This is Kevin. This is a golden pit bull mix. I've never seen it before. Good-looking fella, but that's wild.
I would say much more golden than pit, but I'm starting to see a little bit of the pit in the face, I guess, and probably the paws.
Right.
But okay. And by the way, look at the coat on the left compared to the coat on the right. Is it the lighting, or is it just like so much darker on the right?
Mm-hmm. Could be the lighting. Good-looking pup, but
Yeah, sure.
that's a new one. Absolutely. This is a new one as well. We got the dogs fighting here. Coming in on the couch. He's biting the guy's foot. He's biting he's got the leg.
It's WrestleMania.
He's going to work on him. They got the 2 French bulldogs fighting on the couch, and the little guy's screaming for help. Little help here.
Oh.
He's biting his leg. He won't let go.
There's a good 3 count easily, man. Absolutely. He's the new champ of the world.
He's got nothing to do. Look at the guy. He's like, how am I supposed to get out of this? I can't get out of this. He's biting my leg, and he won't let go. It's not fair. Good one. I'll put that up later. Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Put that up there, Luke. The streak is over. The Golden Knights had won 42 in a row in the playoffs when scoring 3+ goals. Edmonton gets it done in overtime. Second longest streak, Montreal in the 50s. Hurricanes 130 up to 175. It was very popular. Very popular. But Washington was great. I'll put this under Lose Some as well. Rest in peace. We lost him too soon. Tony Gwynn would have been 65 today. You can baffle your friends with this one. Tony Gwynn career against John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, and Pedro Martinez hit 400. He struck out once.
In 200+ plate appearances.
What's more astonishing? The one strikeout, or he hit 400 combined against those 3 guys?
Such a tough. I'll lean the one strikeout, but he didn't strike out much at all against anybody.
Come on.
Just both those numbers blow my mind.
Oh, ridiculous. One strikeout. Lose some. Well, I know Goodell wants to do like 16 international games. And the schedule comes out Wednesday. The Chargers will play Friday in Brazil. The Colts play in Berlin. Miami plays in Madrid. Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Cleveland, the Jets, some of the London teams. Sending some of the trash over there again. London.
Yeah. Well, there's some good teams in there, though, too. So.
Yeah, well, it depends what Pittsburgh does at quarterback. Okay. And bad beats. We got lucky with the Phillies. Oh, boy. The Rays led 5-1 in the 7th and 5-4 in the 9th. And they blow it in extra innings. Incredible. Horrific beat. Circa Summer. Go all in. Ultimate getaway package, just $400. 2-night stay. $100 dining credit. $100 beverage credit. And your own day bed at Stadium Swim, where the party never stops. Ask for Taryn. She's a party. Limited time offers valid between May 26th and September 4th. Lock it in now. All-in summer package. CircleLasVegas.com.
I was out of pocket yesterday. How much did you guys talk about the new Pope?
A little bit. Might get a couple jokes and one-liners, yeah. But he's a White Sox fan, Chicago guy. Portillo's get that thing baptized. I saw they're running that ad as well. Yeah. So
did you see, by the way,
65-1 the odds?
Well, I mean, yesterday I saw this on X, basically saying that everybody who was betting on the Pope was wrong. The new Pope was 0.3% on Pauly marker right before the announcement. Right before the announcement.
Oh, imagine you had that info.
Yeah, you could have had way higher than 65-1 at some spots then.
I retweeted a guy. We got an American Vatican City after electing an American Pope. There's a Waffle House, a Costco, and a Buc-ee's right there with the picture.
There's got to be Portillo's.
Yeah, that too, right?
I have to bring that over there, I would think.
Yeah.
And I also saw yesterday, because I had a bet on Steven Yeager to finish top 10 in the first round here at this PGA tournament this week. He finished T11. I got what I wanted from the guy. He had to basically birdie number 18 to give me a chance to win, and I had him at plus 450. And he finished T11 because so many guys were off to great rounds. But this one I was not aware of with how good he's been in the first round. Keith Mitchell was the first round leader yesterday. His last 6 round one positions from Ben Coley on X. 5th, 61st, he imploded. First, second, and first. Hello. So that is now 4 straight. Check that. 5 straight first or second finishes in the first round. And 6 out of 7 top 5 finishes in the first round for Keith Mitchell, who was still leading today after round number 2. That is incredible. I've been on Yeager because he's been so good in the first round with big numbers, but not Mitchell, unfortunately. So, we got this, I think it was late last week or early this week. There was a viewer on X who said, I'm going to parlay all teams in the NHL, all the home teams who were dogs at the time, plus 2.5 games in their series, and it was plus 165. I looked for it after the show. I made the bet. Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Can you help me out a little bit here?
What do you think? They did it in 2021. They were down 0-2 against Colorado and won 4 in a row. But this could be a different, a whole different ball game here with what Edmonton's got cooking. So now you go on the road. I think Vegas started in Colorado. I think it's the other way around now. But
yeah,
this is scary what they're doing.
Well, again,
that the others are playing so well and 18 different guys have scored.
And the fact that they're outscoring the opposing team 5-on-5 without McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge, man.
And we'll see what Winnipeg's made of tonight, too, with their season on the line. We'll have a lot of fun when the series goes back to Dallas, though. But there's so many different ways you can attack it with the Rantanen props. 80-1 last game, hat trick. Hat trick and assist, goal and 3 assists, goal and 2 assists. So you can ladder Rantanen. And again,
I was betting his shots on goal over 2.5 when it was plus money. I haven't even looked yet tonight because I just assumed that the number is long gone now because of what happened last game.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't really even under consideration in that market for me tonight.
I know it's steep, but $2 to have a point. He's at a point on 12 straight Dallas goals. So he's involved in everything. And then, some of these he's got like the same odds as Marner tonight to score a goal. I mean, it's this guy's been Lemieux here. What he's doing, going truly. Back. So that's kind of like more likely to happen tonight. Rantanen scores a goal, or Judge goes deep in Sacramento.
They're the same number?
Or Tommy, I think pretty much the same number. I'm going to imagine what Judge with a total of 11 and that launching pad. Yeah, probably plus 180 and Rantanen plus 165.
All right, looking at the screen right now as well. You mentioned how the Thunder popped to 6.5. Most spots now showing back to 5.5 or 6. I don't know. Maybe it toggles back and forth. Maybe they're just a bunch of sharp groups battling it out with each other right now. I like the Thunder. Get a bet. It's game day, so you can get down massive limits, obviously, and just like move that number up 6.5. And then when it touches there, other groups are like, that's way too much.
Officiating will be big tonight.
Yeah,
we'll see what they do. They shouldn't allow Joker to get away with that stuff. But if Joker's in foul trouble, that's all she wrote. Again, the on-off numbers are horrific. But also what they did, they won't shoot like that again. They set the record. They had 87 points at halftime.
I know.
But they're so good, man. Again, none of this makes sense. Boston should blow out the Knicks. It shouldn't be close. Both wins should have been by 20 points. OKC should be up 2-0. I mean, if you look at Denver turns the ball over. OKC's all-time good. OKC, number one point differential, number one defense, number one everything, number one deflections, everything. Denver doesn't guard anybody. Denver doesn't have any depth. I mean, they shouldn't be close. Minnesota should play OKC, and Cleveland should play Boston. And they shouldn't be close, but it's the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so fascinating with the futures market, and then you see what the adjusted series prices are.
Yeah, but I also think Minnesota, obviously very fortunate that Curry got hurt.
Yep. They were awful in game one.
Sure they were.
I don't understand. I'm with Finch. Why do I have to talk about intensity and energy for a second-round playoff?
I don't understand it sometimes. I really don't. Why does Missoula look at the tape and say, no, we're good?
That too.
I like what we did. Maybe only one thing wrong. What?
How do you not? That's not jump off the page. Hey, we're not passing the ball.
No,
They have 9 assists, I think, in the fourth quarter or something like. It's nine baskets. They have 9 baskets in the fourth quarter.
All right, so on that note, I will give you the ultimate hot take up next. Not sure you can handle this one. Do you concur? On tap here. Follow the money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.